SIF family members, and all the students who have joined us this evening. Welcome to Crafting a Sustainable Career Season 2. We have our eminent speakers over here. A warm welcome to Professor Mani. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. I invite Dr. Shri, our General Secretary of SIF UAE, to address the forum.
Good evening and namaste, everyone. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone to this a very unique, comprehensive career guidance program. I think one of its kind in UAE. I think it's the only forum in UAE where you get to learn about a lot of career, along with definitely a lot of experts from the field talking to you. So my duty for this evening is actually to introduce you to Science India Forum. And I think most of you very well know about Science India Forum. But it's always a pleasure to reintroduce Science India Forum because it's a very noble organization doing a lot of good things for the good cause of the society. Now, let me just say the Science India Forum is part of Vigyan Bharati, which is one of the largest science movement back in India. It is active in UAE as well as all the other GCC country. In UAE from 2006, it has been very active, and a lot of contest programs that you might have associated in the past also is one of our flagship programs that we conduct. Now, what is the mission of Science India Forum, and why are we doing this voluntary organization, and why there are a lot of people dedicating their time, efforts for this organization? The main reason is let you all, as well as each of us, know the very strong heritage, the scientific heritage that India has, to introduce you to what India is doing in the field of science today, and then connect you back to your country in terms of a future, a career that you want to take up in pure science. Also, along with that, it's very important that as a science student, as a scientist, or as any technocrat, we need to have this moral value of returning back to society. So no matter what or how educated or what you are, it is imperative that whatever you do should also have an impact on the society in a good way. So that is another part of our mission, that along with creating pure science students, we also want to instill the moral value of giving back to the society. And how do we do that? We do that by conducting a lot of programs. So one of the flagship program, which you all know, is the Shastra Pratibha contest. And why is Shastra Pratibha different from all the other examinations that you give today in UAE? Because it's the only contest where you have to study about the rich scientific heritage of India. You have to go through a syllabus that takes us through the whole ancient to the recent developments of science happening in our country, about our institutes, about our scientists. So you get acquainted to what you inherited as a scientific heritage from your country. And then you also brush in your knowledge with the biology, chemistry, physics that you study. And what you get in return, what you get off this exam, you get a chance to go back. The 16 people who are selected gets a chance to go back to India and see one of the esteemed organization there back in India. So that's how that examination is. Then we have National Children's Science Congress, which is another platform that gives you an opportunity to bring in a project that you can showcase back in India after being selected by us in UAE. What else we have? We have a lot of other programs, National Day programs, quiz competition, interaction with scientists from India, teachers empowerment program, career guidance program that you are now. So, I request all of you to join our social media page that we will put in the chat. Be updated on all the programs that we conduct on the daily basis or on the monthly basis, and be a part of this organization, contribute back to the society, and support Science India Forum in all its programs. So having said that, I give back the stage to Radhika ji. Radhika ji, I think I'm mute.
Yeah, thank you. some of the issues of online. Thank you, Subhashji, for warmly welcoming our students and everyone over here. So before we proceed, there are two announcements. Firstly, we have our eminent speakers over here. So if you have any queries, kindly post it in the chat box. As you can see over there, please post your questions here. So you can post it over there. Secondly, there's going to be a surprise contest at the end of the session. So wait for it. It's in online. So you know Mentimeter, all of you are well versed with these apps that you have in schools and all. So it will be on that. So be ready for that also. So I welcome Professor RSS Mani. Sir, I would like to give a short profile introduction of yours over here. Professor Mani is very passionately involved in the area of career planning and guidance for students, faculty and executives across all streams and levels, right from standard 10 up to planning for retirement. With over 3 decades of experience, he has helped over 1 lakh students build their careers. He has been featured in several career guidance columns in newspapers all over the country, addressed several conferences and webinars as an expert speaker. Over the recent 10 years, he has been a very successful career coach and mentor to many senior executives in large Indian and MNC organizations and many SME owners and young generation startup companies. His strength is in the area of mentoring, inspiring, and institutional development. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. Over to you.
Namaskar, good evening, everybody, and greetings from India. It's a pleasure to be here addressing all of you, whom I'm told are from different parts of UAE, different institutions, different locations, and of course, both students and parents. It's such a wonderful activity that the Science India Forum is doing for you. And I'm told this is in its 2nd year. And I must compliment the organizers for having thought of an activity like this, which is so very meaningful. I'd like to, at the outset, thank Venkat, a friend of mine for many years, who is active in the UAE and has been part of some webinars which we've been doing in India over the last 1 year. Also, thanks to Shri Sudha for all the coordination and the patient discussions on how we could structure this event for the benefit of all of you. I'm told that this session involves both students and parents. So I'm going to spend the first 20 minutes sharing with you perspectives on how one could go about crafting a successful career, with a greater emphasis being on how can I plan my career effectively. After which I shall be delighted to answer questions for another 15 minutes, keeping in mind that we need to be punctual, that there are some wonderful speakers following up after I finish what I would like to share with you. On that note, let me begin by first stating that for the young minds who are sitting out here, your career depends on what you do in the first 20 to maximum 25 years of your life. The first 20 to 25 years of your life determine what's going to happen to you in the next 40 to 50 years of your life. Considering that life expectancies are much better, the first 20 to 25 years, you build up your career, and that will keep you going, becoming successful over the next 40 to 50 years, whether you choose to work in an organization, whether you choose to be a teacher and work in an institution, become a scientist, or become an administrator. We look at this foundation of the first 20 to 25 years as the stepping stone towards your career. And here is where I'd like to ask a question for which I guess all of us know the answer. How many of us in this room plan to succeed? And I'm sure the answer is everyone. May I ask, how many of you plan to fail? Wonderful. I see all the hands going off very fast. no one plans to fail. But the fact of the matter is we fail to plan. If you do not plan properly, then I guess fail to plan leads to plan to fail. And therefore, the best thing that I'd like to tell all of you is please focus on career planning. And when I do career planning, what is my main objective? My main objective is to build a career which will bring me happiness. I'm consciously using the word happiness. I'm not saying that the career will make you successful. A successful person may not necessarily be happy, but I'm quite confident a happy person would be one who is also very successful. So let's focus our energies in pursuit of happiness, and success will automatically follow. If this is the background with which we begin looking at career planning, the first thing that I'd like to communicate to all of us, though many of us would be aware of this, that your career is a family decision. Let us not take decisions on careers based on peer pressure, based on demand supply, based on what your friends are doing, or based on what is happening around us in the world. Please choose your career based on your aptitude and interest. And here is where I would urge both students and parents to have a detailed discussion about this at home. Very often, unfortunately, what happens is career planning is done either in some social setting, or you go to a marriage function and somebody asks you, hey, what are you going to do? You say, I want to be a scientist. The person says, oh, you know, scientist is a tough career. Do become an engineer. It's much easier. And then you start getting confused. Should I go in for becoming a scientist or an engineer? So career planning decisions are not taken in informal settings, are not taken in a situation where you are just succumbing to the peer pressure of what your friends are doing. It's a family decision, and therefore it has to be taken with your parents. Maybe some of your relatives who are in a profession of your choice could be also guides and mentors. And the starting point for this is to first ask the child, and you, the student, answer this question. What is it that you would enjoy studying? What is it that you would be happy pursuing as a course? And what is it that is the career which you will want to pursue so that you are happy and successful? Not even for a minute be carried away by what we were told about 40 years ago, that intelligent students do science, average students do commerce, and if you can't get into both, you're good for nothing, do humanities. I'm sorry, these formulas are totally incorrect in today's world and time. Very often getting a seat in a good institution in the humanities stream is much more difficult than getting a seat in the science or commerce stream. So don't choose by all these good old stories and myths and rumors that you might have heard. Choose based on your interest, your aptitude. And here is where I'd like to suggest a word of caution for parents. I think with the world of Google, information is available on the fingertips. Very often the student, that is your child, has done sufficient research before coming and telling you that I would like to be a web designer. I would like to be in the field of animation and graphics, or I want to become a scientist. Please don't even for a minute believe that they're just being carried away. Very often the student has done sufficient research. And here is where I would urge the parents that please have a discussion with the child. If necessary, have a common discussion between you, the child, and Google, because all information that is available in Google is available both to you as well as the child. Research courses which are of interest to the student. After researching courses, shortlist courses which he or she may be interested in. after which please try to shortlist institutions. I've very often noticed that the process is exactly implemented in a reverse manner. We start thinking in our minds, I want my son to go to an IIT, and then everything else falls into place. What to do in IIT? Let him do anything there as long as he's in an IIT. I don't think career planning works like that, because after having ended up in the IIT, you might just about realize that the child was never interested in engineering, but it was pure sciences or architecture that he or she was interested in. So I want to repeat this. Please first research courses which the child is showing interest in. Shortlist courses which would be relevant and meaningful as far as the child study goes, and then come to shortlisting institutions. And here is where I want to emphasize to all the young minds out here. When you're planning your career after 10th standard, you're planning your career into what we call a college situation. The junior college, the degree college, and then the master's level education. Normally, the junior college is 2 years. The degree college ranges between 3 to 5 years, depending on which course you study. Obviously, I'm making the assumption that you will spend only 1 year in one standard, and that's why I said 3 to 5 years. I wasn't building in extra time to complete the whole process. The reason for that is a bachelor's in commerce takes you 3 years. A bachelor's in engineering would be 4 years. A bachelor's in architecture would be 5 years. So to get a same bachelor's degree of a different specialization, the duration could vary anywhere between 3 to 5 years. And therefore, I reiterate, the junior college is 2 years. The degree college is 3 to 5 years. And we always believe, as I said before, complete your education to get a solid foundation by doing your master's, which means we are urging you to do your master's for 2 more years and therefore complete the first round of your education cycle in college. To count it off on a minimum sense, it is 2 years of junior college, 3 years of bachelor's, 2 years of master's. So minimum 7 years. If you choose to do any of the other courses that take a bit longer to complete at the bachelor's level, you would be doing anywhere between 7 to 9 years to complete up to your master's. May I remind you of what I said a little before. The first 20 to 25 years, complete your education up to the master's at least. And then you have the remaining 40 to 50 years to work out your career. Many parents in this room, in this Zoom meeting, will agree with me that perhaps the opportunities were not available to us at that point in time. There were many people who were forced to work after bachelor's because of family circumstances. We always thought we would come back and complete the education, but alas, it didn't happen for some people. And therefore, as bright boys and girls in front of me, with this blessing that you are in a position to complete your education without taking your break, ensuring that your parents are able to support you directly or indirectly with financial support like scholarships and bank loans if necessary, please complete your education right up to master's, which means after the 14 years that you have done in school, we are asking you to do a minimum of 7 more years in college so that your education process, the formal cycle of education is complete. That doesn't, of course, mean that you stop learning. Learning goes on forever, from womb to tomb, as they say. We start learning when we are in the womb of our mother. And I guess we learn till our last breath. And that is where we say learning is an activity that goes from womb to tomb. Yes, you might take a pause in your education after master's because by then you want to start working, either set up your own business as an entrepreneur or get into an organization and work as a corporate executive, or of course, get into teaching and research as the case might be. So here is where I want to repeat what I said before. When I'm looking at my journey of college, first research courses, then shortlist courses, then decide on the institutions you would like to be applying to. Thanks to the digital world, thanks to all the digital updates that are available in the last 15 months at a pace which no one ever imagined, everything is available at the touch of a button, at the click of a mouse. You can research institutions on their websites. Most institutions in India and abroad follow a mandatory disclosure norm where all details about the admissions have to be available on the website. So you can easily access the website and get details. Here is a word of advice for you. When you research the website, don't stop at admiring the beauty of the campus and the air-conditioned classrooms and the gymnasium pool facilities. Please look at the syllabus of the courses that you wish to study. This, to my mind, is more important than all the other things of cosmetic value, which you might try to check up on the website of an institution. Focus your energies on looking at the syllabus. If you're applying to an institution to do a BTech in electronics and telecommunication, find out what is the syllabus. Try to evaluate what is it there that is different in the syllabus from just doing a plain vanilla BTech electronics versus an electronics and telecommunication, or perhaps electronics and instrumentation. So let us always remember the syllabus is the most important thing that you need to get information about when you look at a website, based on which you can decide if that is a course you would like to shortlist. The earlier you're able to do this between 10th and 11th standard, it will become a bit easier for you. The reason for this is most of the admissions after 12th standard demand an admission test. These admission tests could be national tests, they could be international tests. Of course, students who are studying in the Gulf, students who are studying abroad could use facilities for admission available to them, like the NRI quota, as it is commonly called. But then the seats there too are limited. It may be always a good idea to look at the competitive exams and give it a shot. If you put in your best efforts, I'm sure there's a very good chance that you can crack those exams based on your hard work and interest in pursuing a career in that direction. It is always recommended that you write only that many entrance exams based on your area of interest. God forbid, after 12, you're not sure whether you want to do medicine, architecture, or engineering. You have to write a minimum of 3 entrance examinations. And trust me, it's not something which is very enjoyable, nor is it something very easy. Whereas, before you got into the 12th standard, if we are able to shortlist what is it that could be your best career option, you might choose to write only those entrance examinations, spend your time and energy preparing for those entrance examinations, and therefore get a good score, which can facilitate you to get an admission into the institution of your choice. I'm going to now focus a little more on science, because I believe very often students who are in the pursuit of science believe that engineering and medicine are the 2 main career options. While this is absolutely true, these are for time immemorial been those courses which are of greatest demand, becoming a doctor, becoming an engineer. But I must tell you, today, which has assumed huge significance in India, is becoming a scientist. And I don't need to remind you of the wonderful achievements that India has achieved in the last decade plus in the field of scientific research, whether it be space missions, whether it be atomic energy and nuclear sciences, whether it be biotechnology and vaccines. India's scientists have shown the world that we are as good and even better than many of them. And here is where I'd like to highlight to you, if you are not aware, one of the most prestigious chains of such scientific institutions in the country, dedicated totally to science and science education, is called ISER, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. They have 6 campuses all over India. Pune is one of the oldest, and there are many spread all across India. This is an institution which actually produces scientists who end up working for the Bhabha Atomic Research Center, for the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, for the DRDO Defense Organization. They would even end up in places like ISRO, which today is in India's most prestigious research organization. Here are some wonderful opportunities which I think young minds like you who are very keen on science should consider. Becoming a scientist is not only very satisfying, brings you a lot of happiness because your contribution is something the entire nation and the entire world is going to benefit by. Even institutions like IIST, that is the Indian Institute of Space Technology, are committed totally to space research and such areas. These are wonderful opportunities which are available to you beyond the traditional mainstream engineering and medicine. Yet another domain which has become very, very popular is getting into the field of paramedical sciences. Paramedical and allied health sciences includes areas like optometry, pathology, nursing, physiotherapy, and today all of us know that beyond the mainstream medicine, these are equally challenging areas and wonderful areas to work into because the roles have become super specialized. For example, the optometrist takes care of the preventive eye care, which is a paramedical science area, for which you do a BSc in optometry, which is a 4-year course. But the ophthalmologist is an eye surgeon who takes care of repairing any damage which might unfortunately happen in the eye, such as glaucoma, retina detachment, cataract, and so on. So within the field of eye care, you have two specializations. The optometrist, who's taking care more of the preventive part and a little bit on the eyewear, like goggles, contact lenses, spectacles, and the eye care, which the ophthalmologist is looking after. So here you see, you have two domains, the optometrist, which is an allied health science 4-year course. And to become an ophthalmologist, you will first become a doctor, MBBS, 5 years, and then do your MD in ophthalmology. So 2 more years makes it 7 years. This is just to give you an example that within any mainstream area, there could be 2 such options which will come up, and these could be chosen based on your aptitude and interest. To conclude what I wanted to share with you before I take a pause to answer some of your questions, while you focus on your studies, while you focus on ensuring that you do your best in all the forays in the field of education, please spend your time and energy also on developing your overall personality. Please do not become a bookworm. Focus on developing your overall personality, communication skills, listening skills, teamwork skills, the ability to support each other, cope with stress, look after the fact that we are all privileged. Can I help the underprivileged? Be sensitive to the world we live in. Be aware that the environment we must protect it, at least for our generation and the future generations to come. This all, to my mind, is developing your overall personality. So do spend your time and energy in this domain too, so that while you become an excellent performer in academics, you also become a good human being. And that is something which I would urge all parents to spend equal time with for the child. Let them develop their extracurriculars, let them develop their co-curriculars, and most importantly, let them develop their overall personality. So these were some basic, important thought processes on how you could start shaping your career so that you can plan to succeed, so that you can plan to choose a career where you would be happy, and therefore success will automatically come your way. Let me take a pause at this point in time. As I mentioned to you, I saw a couple of hands going up off and on. You're welcome to use the chat box or follow the guidelines given by the moderator. I'll be very happy to take some questions at this point in time. Thank you very much for listening to me patiently.
Thank you, Manisa. It's been very, very insightful of you to have shared so many things, not only about the career, but your message of saying the students to have an overall development. That is really, really applauding. Thank you, sir. So regarding the questions, there is one that comes in focus is it better to do masters right after graduation or gaining some experience? Or should I do masters while I do a part-time job?
Well, in general, I would believe, please complete your masters and then get on to your job. Very often when you get on to a job, the pressures at work are so much, you don't end up getting time to pursue a part-time course with sufficient attention. And then it becomes a scenario that you just want to complete the course, not really master the course. If you understand the difference between the two. When you're doing a master's course, it is expected that you master that area, not just do the master's because everybody is doing a master's, let me do one. My general recommendation is don't take a break. Very often when you take a break, coming back to do your master's is much more difficult. If you have worked for 2 years and you started earning money, you have credit cards in your pocket, you're so used to spending, it becomes very difficult to give up your job. Then you take a part-time course, and the value of a part-time course, unfortunately, in general, is not as much as a full-time course. So unless circumstances demand that you need to work urgently because of circumstances beyond your control, I would believe complete your education full-time, then take up a full-time career. 40 more years are there anyway to work, as I just told you a little before. So complete your education is my word of advice.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. The next question is a personal one. Favorite subject, my favorite subject is economics. I wish to choose BA economics for my bachelor's, and I'm fascinated about studying civil service. But what if I do not crack civil service? Is BA economics still a good course to have a good career?
All right. So the first thing I'd like to tell this young boy or girl is when you are attempting something in life, be positive. No, don't get worried. I know everybody hates the word positive now after the pandemic. Here you have to be only worried in the pandemic that don't test positive. But throughout your life, please remember, be positive. And I always say this to my students, that I don't care what your blood group is. It could be A negative, it could be AB positive, but your life philosophy should always be positive. So when you are approaching the civil services, go with the mission, I will succeed. BA Economics is a wonderful starting point for your civil services. For those of you who are not aware, the UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, conducts the IAS exams for positions in the government, in the Indian Foreign Service, Indian Revenue Service, Indian Administrative Service, and so on and so on. The preliminary exam has maximum subjects related to humanities. So while you're studying economics, I'm sure you've done a little bit of either political science or philosophy or sociology. That will help you. After which you start the process of going through the IAS prelims. If you clear it, the finals, and if you clear it, the interview. While you're doing this after your graduation, the safety valve is to do a master's in economics or econometrics or some such areas. Give civil services your best try, 1 attempt, maximum 2 attempts. If that's not what's succeeding as far as your career goes, your master's in economics, your master's in econometrics could be a wonderful career option for you. You could even consider getting into areas like statistics, actuarial sciences, all these at the master's level. This could be plan B. I was waiting to say this if a question comes up, that when you're planning your career, the first choice is called plan A. Also look at plan B. If something doesn't go right, what should be my backup plan? And that is plan B. It's like having the stepney in the car and ensuring that it's always available to you in case of an SOS situation. So please look at civil services. Your BA Economics is a wonderful option. While pursuing your civil service exams, also enroll for a master's in economics or any allied area, so that by the time you crack the civil service examination, you actually are a master's degree holder and plus have got an opportunity to enter the civil services. Best of luck to you.
So there is one more question before we proceed to the next speaker. Should I keep the job opportunities in mind while choosing a career, or should it be based on passion?
Okay, that's an excellent question. And let me tell you, the answer to me is very simple. Choose based on your passion. I'll tell you why you should be worried about job opportunities or not, or who should be worried about job opportunities. In the worst of situations, in the most difficult of employment markets, trust me, those who are passionate and have excelled in their courses have always found jobs. Today, if the economy is going through a recession, and I as a company would have normally hired 21 people, this year, I decide to hire only 7 people. If I'm passionate and if I put up an excellent performance, can I not ensure that I'm in that 7 always? So if I'm in that 7 always, the top performing 7, because I'm passionate about it, then it doesn't matter if there is a recession. It doesn't matter if the job market is bad. I'm going to be getting the job of my choice because I was passionate about it. So job market, demand, supply, all this is for people who do not perform to their peak, who do not perform to their best. And these people are perhaps following a career which they were not passionate about. Those who are passionate about their careers will always perform well, will always be happy doing what they're doing, and jobs will keep chasing them. And don't think that I'm saying something story-like or very filmy. This is very, very realistic, based on my experience of 30 plus years, where I've seen all kinds of careers come in and go, all kinds of demand supply curves occurring in the field of careers. Those who chose a career they were passionate about always excelled, always found the job of their choice. Recession never hits them. They are what I call recession proof because they have followed their passion and they excel in whatever they do.
Thank you, Manisa. That was a very good insight for all our students. I'm sure they would have benefited very much. There are many more questions which students we will surely address to in the coming speakers. They will address it. Thank you, sir. We move on to our next speaker, our very own Satish Ji. Welcome, Satish Ji. Speaking about Dr. Satish, he has completed his MBBS from RG Kar Medical College, Kolkata University. To be precise, this is the first medical college built by Indians, which celebrated its centenary in 2017. MCH in Neurosurgery from Sri Chitra Tirunalla Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, Thiruvananthapuram, one of the 3 medical institutions deemed university passed by the Act of Parliament. Diplomat of National Board in Neurological Surgery, New Delhi. Postdoctoral fellowship in vascular neurological surgery from SCTI-MST, was the first alumni of SCTI-MST to join as faculty of the Department of Neurological Surgery as assistant professor. Nominated as member of the subcommittee of higher medical education in the Emirati Board, UAE, a very prestigious place. Member of the disaster committee of the Ministry of Health and Prevention, UAE. Currently working as senior consultant and head of neurological surgery, Al Qasmi Hospital, Sharjah, the largest hospital under the Emirates Health Authority, under the Ministry of Health and Prevention. Welcome, Satish Ji. Kindly forgive me if I have made some errors with the medical background words.
Namaste. A very warm evening to you all. welcome so many bright students. I would, at the onset, like to know how many of you have made up your mind to join medicine. Can I have some hands go up? Any figures out there? Because medicine, like the previous speaker, Professor R.S.S. Mani said, is a passion. Choose a passion and you will never work a single day in your life. So unless you are passionate about helping human beings get back to life from their various ailments, do not venture into medicine. And medicine, once chosen, is it's not a career, it's sort of a partner with your life. Your life ceases to exist to being yours. Your time at first is to your patients. And if there is time left out from there, then the time is yours. So be very clear that you are taking medicine only for this reason. The reason being that you are passionate enough and that you wholeheartedly believe that you can make a change in people's lives, a change for the better, so that you lend your helping hands, get them back into life. The pleasure and the thrill of seeing a patient who comes in very sick and goes back to his normal activities, goes back to his family, is beyond compare. And only a person who is in this field can understand the thrills and that comes after maybe days, months, or sometimes even years of hard work on struggling on a patient. But the thrill is the thrill of the thrill that you get in paragliding, whether you climb a mountain. It's a thrill which is on a daily basis. When you talk of thrills, there are great lows. It's a sad blow when you lose patients, but then that is part of the game. Because you study medicine, not for passing exams, not for making money, not for making a name for yourself, but for standing up with patients who are alone, scared, and at the lowest point in their lives. Many times they are facing death. So you try to stand between them and death with your knowledge, with your skills, and with your zest for doing this job. In my case, surgery. India has been rich in medical education. We are not, although we choose to, me and my other fellow medical specialists choose to take up Western or modern medicine as it is called. India was always the cradle of medicine. India had medicine way back, before people were even wearing dresses. People were jumping from trees to trees. We had surgeons, we had excellent surgeries, we had surgeries on the brain, we had surgeries in the eye, we had surgeries like plastic surgery, we had surgeries of fixing up bones, we had medicines for so many ailments. So our ancient medical system, which still exists in India, existed way beyond what we call as modern medicine. Modern medicine started in India, in Calcutta, basically, with the establishment of Calcutta Medical College in the late 1800s, 1835, I think, 1830s. And soon followed by in Madras and in Mumbai, or Bombay as it was called. Well, the Indians started, these were all started by the English people, because they wanted to have doctors who are familiar in their form of medical education to treat their people in India. So they choose who they wanted to take into their education systems. So we were lucky that there were many nationalist people who wanted to build a medical college of our own. And that is how R.G. Carr Medical College, or Carmichael Medical School as it was called, was started in Calcutta. Now it is more than 100 years. It's celebrated its centenary in 2017. And I happen to be one of the lucky few to have passed out through the portals of this great institution. So medical education as it stands now, we have about 540 odd medical colleges and about 79 or odd postgraduate institutes on its own, taking in about 80,000 plus medical graduates. We also have about 300 dental colleges taking in about 30,000 dental students a year. So this is the scenario that you are going to face, and it's all entrance-based exams. You need to pass the entrance and score highly. And now, luckily, it is all centralized. In our time, it was state-based entrance exam. Like Professor Mani said, that you needed to concentrate on one. In the past, we had to write entrance exams across the country. So if you had to go to write an exam for All India Institute of Medical Sciences, you had to travel to Delhi. If you had to write for PGI Chandigarh, you needed to travel to Chandigarh. And if you needed to write for CMC Vellore, you needed to travel to Vellore. So, but if you wanted to write for, say, Bengal Medical, West Bengal Medical Education, you needed to travel to West Bengal to write, and similarly to Kerala or to other states. But now, luckily, things are much centralized. You need to write one exam, and you can go into, based on your exam, your score, you can get in there. So I would like to address this into two or three main thing. Who should join? Like I started by saying, have a passion. You should love human beings. You should love human beings when they are down, not when they are completely fit. And love being with them so that you stand with them and say that I am here for you. Be with them at their lowest point in life and hold their hands and try to guide them out into safety. So that's paramount. Why should one join? One should join if you want to make a career of curing ailments, of treating pain. Medicine is all about treating pain because that is the greatest fear that human beings have. If you have a disease which is painless, then half your problem is solved. The patient is not so much worried unless he's paralyzed or has a problem. But pain is what worries anybody and fears and gets the fear of God going into them that you're going to get this pain. So if you are a person who loves doing that, then you can join that. What do you expect when you join medical education? Do not join medical education for gaining money, like I said. Money will come. Money will not come in hordes and this thing. For the amount of time that you spend, the amount of energy that you put in, the money is not proportionate. But money is adequate enough for you. Because remember that this is the passion that should keep you going. And it's a passion forever, for life. And also remember that like all careers, when you say that you start your education when you're in the womb and you are a student till you die, no other profession holds it so much in value as in medicine, because medicine is exploding daily, actually. And now with the internet giving you all the information that there is, you would be hard pressed if you just stepped off the pedal and try to join the race back again. You need to be constantly upgrading your skills, your knowledge, because things are moving at a rapid pace. And one way it is good. The medicine keeps on reinventing itself. So even in this pandemic, one would have noticed that as students, as general population, you would have heard about all the guidelines that were being circulated, even on the WhatsApp University, about what the guidelines were. If you look at what the guidelines were in 1 year before and what they are now, you would start wondering, how does medicine survive? Medicine survives this way itself. We innovate ourselves, we try to find, we stumble, we fall, and then we correct ourselves, take corrective measures ourselves to say that the line which we took initially was not wrong, was not correct. So we need to take corrective actions. And medicine is one of those spheres in life where one is not afraid to put up your hand and say that I was wrong and I need to take corrective actions. And it is a constantly evolving, constantly moving. It is not at all static. And what happens in China can be replicated here. What happens here can be replicated in say, Iceland, because diseases are the same, basically. There are little bit changes here and there based upon the population at hand or the variations because of the environment that gives a different flavor to the disease. But the basic diseases remain the same. Maybe some areas have more of some diseases, some areas have less of the other diseases. And what do you expect after the course? You expect to be spending your whole life with patients. If you're into clinical medicine, if you're not into clinical medicine, then obviously not so much. But if you are into clinical medicine means medicine where you treat patients basically of various ailments, be it any ailment from the head to the toe, from the inside to the outside, whether it is inside your heart, inside your brain, inside your abdominal cavity, or it's on the outside where it is dermatology. But you continue to treat patients till your last day, or till you decide that enough is enough and I just want to hang my boots. But once a doctor, you're a doctor for life. You don't need to go looking for job opportunities. You can even start your job opportunities. But also remember that once, if you say you studied from class 1 to class 12 with a student, and he or she is your best friend sitting next to you, and you are always together in life till that period of time. The moment you join medicine, you will notice that within 6 months, you tend to, in the first few weeks, you will be talking to this person continuously. Within 6 months, you would just say hi, bye. And within 1 year, that person is a stranger to you. What happened basically? Because when in medical education, you are continuously learning. You have to keep your eyes open, your ears open. And like we were taught, keep 4 eyes open and 4 ears open, because knowledge is coming from everywhere. It is not a didactic knowledge that comes. It's not a knowledge that you come to the blackboard and write down a few things and then you write it down and then you mug it up and you go away. No, knowledge comes from various places. It comes basically from patients, it comes from books, it comes from teachers, it comes from your fellow students, it comes mostly from your seniors who have seen it all. It comes when you're sitting in the canteen, it comes when you're sitting for lunch or for dinner in your hostel. There is always discussion of medicine. There is no other discussion. There are very few medical colleges or very few areas where you will find a group of medical students not discussing medicine. Yes, they might discuss a movie, which were lucky to see a movie, discuss that, but promptly the discussion will come back to medical education or the subject at hand. Because the subject is so vast, and because each one of you is passionate enough to join this on the strength of your passion, you will still want to continue to doing that. And forget that 12 years of friendship that you had, you build up new friendships and they remain for you with life, basically. So if you are willing to take up all these sacrifices, yes, this is a great career. It's a career like career like no other career that you can see. You can be a friend, a philosopher, a guide to so many people. It was once called the noble profession, but remember, it is no longer a noble profession, especially in India, unfortunately. So one needs to always also look at every patient as being a litigant, like what you see in the West now, because expectations are very high, because the people's expectations are very high, and because diseases can be cruel at most of the time, and for no fault of yours, the disease might be too overwhelming for you to treat it. Remember that patients or family members or friends take their grouse based on the bills also that you have. So nowadays, also, I would like to tell you one thing, that when you are going in from after class 12, in every career that you are going to go in, suppose you are a humanities student, you are a commerce student in +2, and you go into BCom, your commerce education is continued into that undergraduate study. You are a student of maths, physics, chemistry, and you take up any engineering course. Your first year, or at least the first 6 months, there is a continuing continuation of the study of the subjects that you took up. Unfortunately, in medicine, with bright-eyed, you are all excellent in biology. And that is why you thought that you would do you would do so well in medicine that you wanted to take up medicine. But nobody gave you the insight that medical education is completely different from what you learned everything in school. There is nothing that is common from what you learn in biology in school of the cockroaches, of the toads, and of the birds, and of all the mammals. When you go into medicine, it's complete different ball game. And it hits you from day one. The only common subject that you will find something which you can relate to is in the biochemistry part of your medical education. It's in the first year, but your anatomy, physiology, everything is completely different, basically. And what hits you is that it goes on a roller coaster speed. Before you blink your eyes, every day is a new chapter. Every day is a new this thing, and your deadlines to meet. You need to meet deadlines. You need to pass your SEMs. You need to pass your clinical tests. You need to pass your orals. You need to pass your practicals. You need to pass your theory. And this is the only field where there is separate pass mark for theory, separate pass mark for viva, separate pass mark for practical. And if you fail in any one of them, you fail in that whole subject. So it's a continuing skill that you need to learn. So it usually comes as a rude shock to many people when many students, when they join medicine in the first few months, to see that this is not exactly what we learned. You would have been a brilliant student, brilliant scholar, scoring more than 95% in all the subjects in school, and suddenly you are out of water. You find that you are in the depths. You find that you are not a very good swimmer, and you tend to sink very fast unless you pick up. And that is where the camaraderie of your friends, because you talk to them and you find out that everybody is in the same boat, you pick up, you start paddling, and like I said, it's a passion that keeps you driving. It's a goal that you see your seniors that they are doing, looking at medicine. And medical colleges are full of the things that you're going to do are right in front of you. Medical colleges are never built away from the hospitals. Medical colleges should be built with the hospitals attached, so that day in and out, when you go into the medical college, the atmosphere gets into you, gets under your skin. And like my parents used to say, you smell of the hospital. Yes, you do start smelling of the hospital from the day one that you enter, because all the smells percolate into you. It gets into your skin, it gets under your skin, it gets onto your hair, it gets onto your dresses. And like all youngsters, you would not want to wash your jeans, but then they start stinking of the hospital. But you get used to it. And unless you are going to do that, unless the atmosphere gets into you, imbibes into you, one cannot learn to love the subject and become a medical specialist. Yes, the sky is the goal for those people who earn, unlike other professions. Even if you are an average medical student, even if you are an average doctor, but if your commitment is 110%, be sure that patients will be with you. Remember that it is not just your medical knowledge that is important. It is equally important is the factor of empathy. Empathy is different from sympathy. You need to empathize with the patient. You need to say, hold his hand and say, I can feel your pain. I can feel what you're going through today. I understand what your family is going through. And that empathy should be genuine. Every day you need to have this in your mind. At every time when you're woken up in the middle of night, you need to still have that empathy inside you. You cannot be saying that, oh, I have been woken up from my sleep. I do not have the thing to treat you. That can never be the thing with a medical doctor, because disease knows no time, and disease unfortunately strikes mainly at night at odd hours and on weekends, unfortunately, and maximum on holidays. So remember this one very important thing: why you should join, what you should expect in your course, and what you should do after you finish your course. And unlike other professions, the moment you finish your medical education, a whole world of internship starts in front of you, a residency program where you are paid. So this is one of the few careers where you will get paid the moment you get your license, because every time that you want to do your post-graduation in other studies, in other spheres where you want to take up careers. When you start up with post-graduation, you will have to look for salary from somewhere. But here you will get handsomely paid. The salaries are very good now. They are quite high. You will get many of the national institutes, you will get places to stay. You will get lots of plus points. You don't have to worry for that money part for you to stay comfortably. Yes, but if you compare with your batchmate who passed out with you on class 12, he or she will be starting earning very soon, where you will be still struggling. In medical education, you will struggle for 10 years for your education to reach some level. 5 years for your MBBS, 1 and 2 years for your getting your internship and your housemanship going, and then 3 or 5 years, depending upon you want to do a master's or a super specialization course, till you become. So after 10 years of your education only, you will start your career. But be sure that it will even out somewhere along the way. You will be continuing to work at your own pace. Whenever you want to step back, you can continue to work. You can continue to work till you die. You look at, I don't know how many of you know of Dr. Agarwal, who, having talked so much of COVID, was afflicted with COVID, was giving out messages on the social media about COVID. And literally till he died, he was giving out messages. Or you would have seen us now that social media is so active, you would have seen of a patient anesthesiologist who was affected with COVID and was in the ICU when a patient next to her crashed. She jumped out of her bed, removed her IV fluid, intubated the patient, and went back to her bed. So that is the passion that comes with you. That is the passion that keeps you going every day. That's a passion. Unless the passion wanes, you will be living a full life, full of thrills, full of excitements, also full of downs, like life should be. But be sure that you will have an enthralling career. You will have a very fulfilling career. You will have a rich career where you will touch so many people's lives like no other specialty in the world. I would end on this note and say that let your dreams soar. Keep dreaming high. Aim for these stars. You will reach the moon. And if you have a passion for medicine, go for it. Go for it with full this thing. Go for it fully knowing that it's just that your passion for treating people that has brought you here and not for anything else. The things that you get along the way, you will get. If you are good, you will get it. For sure, you will get it. But remember that this is a commitment for life. And 100% commitment, anything short of that, you are not going to be a good doctor. Even if you are the best of the doctors, if your empathy score is less than 100%, if your commitment is less than 110%, you're not going to be a good doctor. So on these note, I would like to pass on to the next speaker. If there are many questions or any questions, I would be glad to answer them. Or if there are people who just want, there are students who just want take up medical career, I am willing to take any questions later on, even on phone, or we can have another session on that.
Thank you, Dr. Satish Ji. Yes, there are questions, of course. You have cleared the basic question, I think, for all of us students, saying that math and bio, what should I choose? So you have very clearly instructed them. There is one more question, sir. How should I choose a specialty after MBBS?
That's a very nice question. There are many students who, when they join medicine, are focused on to say that I will take up this specialty. They are very special. They have already made up their mind when they reach this point before they took up the medicine career. But most of them, including me, when we went into the journey, when you do the preclinical, and then the first 2 years are preclinical, but you dart into the other specialties to see the medical ward, to see the surgical ward, to jump into the operation theater, to jump into so many things that are going on in a medical college continuously. You tend to get a fascination for some subjects on your own, basically. For me, surgery was very important. It fascinated me because you could look into things, you could look into the human organs, feel them, see them, and see how they behave differently. There are many people who think that listening to us through a stethoscope, looking at an X-ray and trying to treat is a special. So on that, from the third year onwards, you will know which is your specialty. Do not go with a predetermined mind like you went into medicine, but go with an open mind and see which you are suited for. Also, your temperament, basically. If you are going to be something as a grueling as a neurosurgical subject, if you are going to take up neurosurgery as a subject, it is a very, very tough course. It is a grueling subject. Not only is it physically very demanding, because trying to open up the skull takes up a lot of physical energy, takes up a lot of physical effort, even in positioning the patient, but is also an emotionally draining process. You might be doing surgeries, say on a physical term, you might be doing surgeries for say 12 hours, 15 hours. The maximum that I have done is for 23 hours. And what I have done alone is on 17 hours, 23 hours with my professor. So you would think that these are physical labors, basically. You are the greatest physical labor in terms of when you talk of any blue collar job that you're talking about. Also emotionally draining, because the best of your efforts when you come out, you find that the patient did not give you the expected results there. So you would have done a best job. You would have worked for 9 hours continuously. And then you will find that the patient succumbing to some other infections or something else, which is beyond your control. So that's very emotionally draining too. So you will choose your career according to the flow that you go into your medical career. When you go into your medical school, you will know which subjects suits you. If you're a laid back person, you don't want to be disturbed at night. Yes, dermatology is a very good option because you want to take up something else, or you want to take up something as exciting as microbiology or virology, which is the demand of the hour, basically, or the year of the times that we live in, basically. But yes, you will have your personal time. You will not be so much stressed out. So choose according to your temperament, choose according to your expectations, choose according to your heartstring pull. Also choose according to the adrenaline rush that you crave for. Each specialty has its own adrenaline rush. So if you have an adrenaline rush in neurosurgery, you might not have so much interest.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Satish. That was really very, very insightful. One more quick question. What do you think about physiotherapy and other courses? Are there any scope for these medical fields?
A very apt this thing. Physiotherapy on this thing. There is a physiotherapy medical course. That means you do physiotherapy course after your Mbbs. So you are a doctor in physiotherapy. Actually, you prescribe medicines. You treat them also. Whereas you have just a physical therapist or a physiatrist course that you have. That is doing what the doctor recommends you. So that itself is a very good course because aches and pains are increasing because of your stressful life, because of your lifestyle changes, because lack of exercises. You see lots of wear and tear, especially in your joints, especially in your back, especially in your neck muscles. So obviously, physiotherapy is a profession much in demand. What has happened in medical field is now there are many specializations which we never thought of when we landed up in medicines. Can you imagine somebody choosing what is called as a specialization, which is now in America called nocturnist? That means this doctor chooses only to treat at night, basically, and he gets a special degree for that. The flip side is that you should be able to sleep in the mornings. The pros of that is that you will be working lesser hours, basically, and you will be getting more paid for that. Also, remember, the hospital is two different worlds. Once is sunsets, basically. In the morning, there is a hustle bustle of meetings, of having various other colleagues, various other departments. You're also slightly safer that you have other colleagues to help you with problems of the patient, whereas at night, you are your own boss. There are many people who like that, who like to spend their time mostly with patients, spend their time with families. So there is a specialization called nocturnist, basically. There are exciting career opportunities like what you call as immunologist. They are cancer immunologists. Like, immunotherapy is a big thing, and not only for cancer, for many diseases which are, again, like autoimmune diseases that you get. Also, there are now so many physicians who are getting trained and getting accredited in something which is called as lifestyle medical specialists. That means they treat lifestyle medical problems of patients, and many, at least 80% of your problems of the current world are from lifestyle diseases, the chronic diseases. One major, if you are good in maths, if you are good in computers, you could go into what is called as clinical informatics. There are people who just become medical information officers, health information officers, because everything that you do is now on electronic media. So if you are good in that, you could take up that career, and you could be less stressful because you're dealing with information, basically. You're dealing with statistics. You are providing input to the other specialties as to how this disease is progressing. And the pandemic has brought the world to a halt as far as physical medicine is concerned, but it evolved a specialty which started about 30 or 40 years ago. I remember doing a course of telemedicine, which was initiated by Keltron in Trivandrum. And it was such an exciting thing to talk to somebody sitting in All India Institute of Medical Sciences over a platform provided by Keltron. But now it is a reality, and it is a reality which every doctor is doing, telemedicine. So you can be a medical virtualist, basically. So these are exciting fields which are opening up. There will be lots of other fields which will open up, especially the pandemic has brought in a lot of focus onto virology. And so there will be a lot of explosion of opportunities for people who are interested in such fields. Also, in the increase in number of infections around the world, infection being one of the major killers of the world, infection specialists, respiratory therapists, intensivists, so many other things are coming up and will continue to explode in the coming years. So my wish to all of you who wish to take up medicine is all the best, go for it. There is no other career. Once you do your medicine, you will look back and say that this is the best career that I choose. This is a career which I would, if I have given a choice, like we believe in our philosophy of rebirth, I would still want to be a doctor in my next life.
Thank you, Dr. Satish ji. That is really, really a powerful way of ending it. Thank you so much. Very, very inspiring for all our students, I'm sure of it. Our third speaker for the day, Shri Sudha Vishwanathan. Speaking about her, she is the Assistant Vice President at OIF Technical Private Limited, Dubai, a gold medalist from Anna University, Chennai, and holds MTech degree in Polymer Science and Technology, former scientist of ISRO, and carried out research in the frontier areas of nanotechnology. She has also published research work in renowned international journals. Over to you, Sudha ji.
Thank you, Radhika ji. And first of all, thank you, children, for utilizing this event and getting benefited. I'm telling you, there are going to be 8 sessions, and this vacation, I guarantee that there are going to be n number of speakers specialized in their field for decades together, coming forward to spend 30 minutes with you, right? And tell maximum, their total life of decades of experience is going to be concised into a small 30 minutes brief speech to you. And you can ask them questions and get your doubts cleared. Okay. Please utilize your session. And I can see Shri, then I know Arabi, and I see one more person, who are all present in the last session. I'm very glad to have you here. Please get benefited. And there are going to be exciting prizes also. So you can utilize all that. And I think Abhin Raj, I should mention. Otherwise he'll feel sad. I've seen him in most of the sessions, right? Yeah. Srinathji or Vedji, can we have directly the activity on the chat? Children, today let us make it, towards the end, let us go light. I will, if you have seen people, telling you from the beginning, passion, empathy, all these words are used, right? More than earlier when we say, they say doctor, engineer is good, doctor is good, This gives money, right? Now, do you see there is a change in the way things are being spoken about? You're passionate or it matches your interest. What are your skills? This is what the first two speakers have spoken to you about. So probably we need to rethink that way. Like Professor Mani was mentioning, just because it is IIT, I want to go, don't join some course because IIT, I am an IITian. No, it really matters what are you studying, okay? And what is your passion? Everything matters. So probably some of you would have taken these tests before, the RISEC test. If not, just go open the document. Are you able to see there is a Word document? Please, please go ahead, download it. I think most of you are using your laptop, right? Download it, open it. Hope you could open. The first Word document speaks about RISEC test. Please open it. Opened. Okay, you would see a set of questions, right? Just go through that. And if you double click, there is a checkbox in each of that. If you double click, you will have the checkbox highlighted. Vedji, can you please present it in case you can, or Srinathji? Open that Word document and share the screen.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, please. Children, start doing it. Double click it, you will get it checked. See, this is the Word document I have given you. Take your time, probably 3 minutes, you should be able to finish this. Yes, see, he is double clicking it and checking it. This is how you can do. Even if you are finding difficulty with that, don't worry, just see that and write it in your piece of paper and write only the total checks. Once again, I repeat. So it is just, see, for example, build kitchen cabinets. If you see under each topic, different colors, what you like to do, whether you like to do that, you like, whatever you like to do, give a double click. Okay. If you are facing any problem in this, take a piece of paper, just write realistic, under the realistic column, just write what all you like to do. So count the number of activities that you want to do in each of the heading. So this total, whatever you see in each box, is the total number of clicks that you have done. For those who still have problem, the Word document is present in the chat box. Do not worry if you are not able to complete it. You can save it in your desktop and you can do later also. Okay, please do not worry in case you are unable to complete it. I will be just explaining you how to do it also. It's not a test. You need not hurry. Check whether you are able to do at least few to understand what I am going to say. Can I proceed to the next thing? See, for doing the total, Veggie, can you just do some check in the end? Any of the box you can check, just 2 or 3 and show how to do the total. Just check 2 or 3. Okay. See, he is doing the total, the social thing. He has now checked the 3, right? So in the values, social check value, he will enter 3. No, you can double click and enter also. You just double click and you enter 3. No, it is not showing. Single click. Yes. You can print and later write on your own handwriting also. It's not must you need to finish now. Just understand how it is working. Okay, it is going to stay with you. You are going to have a copy. Shall I proceed? What does it mean? Shall we go ahead? Okay, Veggie, we can stop sharing the screen. Hope everybody got it, right? What to do, at least you got the thing, right? There is no doubt. Okay, Veggie, can you please stop sharing? Yeah. So now, let me share my desktop. Yes. See, whatever you have, I have been asking to do is about this program. I will not take much of time. I'll go directly. This is what the step 2. Do you see there is something called interest identification? I made you do that exactly. If you see R, that full checkbox is to identify whether you are a doer, a realistic person. A doer or a realistic person is what Dr. Satish Ji is here for, right? He said 15 hours to 23 hours I sit. You know, I take it as a passion. Like a physical labor, I complete the process where he is doing a surgery, right, of the brain. So those people are doers. Nothing will distract them from doing what they want to do. So that checkboxes of activity will help you know whether you are a doer. Next is investigative. Some people said, I want to become a scientist. I want to do some research in medicine also, you said. If you want to be research in medicine, you need to be an investigative person. You need to be a thinker. That checkboxes, whatever activities I had given them, if you have clicked that, that means you are an investigative person. Please remember, you need not click all the 10 if there are 10. You know, you are trying to see what kind of a person you are. Do it honestly, do it at home. Okay, nothing to hurry. Next is artistic. These are the creative people. Like, you know, if it is a graphic design, which the whole world is now into digital world, right? If it is about, you know, even A.R. Rahman, the music director, they're all creative people. Without their creativity, they cannot, you know, repeatedly do a job without any creativity. Then there is loss of interest, right? What if every web page looks the same? We don't want that. So those are creative people. Next, if you see the enterprising people, they are the persuaders. You go to any shop, if there is a very good salesperson, he knows how to make you buy that pen or pencil, right? They are persuaders. So are you of that sort? Lawyers, they are all such, you know, persuading persons. Helpers are the therapists. Even physiotherapy, Dr. Satish was mentioning. Teachers, whom else can you pinpoint? Now, you know, they were such helpers that they went to, when it went to online mode, they actually learned IT skills to teach you people. Next is conventional, the organizers. If you see them, they will be perfect. They have an order. They like to have an order. All the chaos, if you just leave it to them, they will convert it into order. A librarian has to be in order. A professor, for that example, a banker. So these are the professions that are related with one's personal qualities. This is what the previous speakers also have been speaking about. It's not about the institution that you want to study or go to US and study or go to Pune and study because my grandfather, my uncle is there. It is because my interests are this, my skill set is this, right? Based on this, I will narrow down into some profession. My subjects, academic skill is this. Along with my personal skill, I'll narrow down into these areas. And again, I tell you, it is what they were saying, like even Professor Mani was telling you, participate in more of competitions, right? So all this is because you need proper communication skills. You need to use the time properly. You need to use the information properly. You need to have good interpersonal skills. Teams rapport needs to be there. You need to have critical thinking skills, applied academic skills. So all this, the career option, the interest, and the abilities, all this together only will help you in finding a good job. That is, you are going to be passionate about even after 15, 20 years. You don't regret. You stay happy and you are resilient to come out even during recession and keep your job, coming out with flying colors, and you are coming out with flying colors. So these are the important aspects which I wanted to tell you. And one more thing, I would have given an Excel sheet. Please download and keep. That is to tell you, you are all studying in 9th grade, 10th grade, right? Where you need to improve, which stage you are in, where you need to improve, push your academics, push your co-curricular activities so that your RISEC score also matches with that. Hope you're getting some idea of what I am trying to say. Yes, I am going to be with you throughout the 8 sessions. If there are going to be any doubts, you can always ask me in the chat. I can take it up privately and answer in the WhatsApp group also later. We are going to stay connected. And with this, please do this before the next session, because once the speakers start coming to you, you can then have an idea whether what they speak is relevant to my interest, or what they speak, that area can I develop, can I learn, can I take it up as my job in future, as my profession in future. So that is going to help you. So please do this activity. This is vacation time. Make it useful. Enjoy our sessions. Try to grab more and more. Use a separate notebook or a Word document or whatever you're good at. Make note of the points. Definitely you will have an edge over the others, I tell you. Thank you, children. Now we move on to the contest. Every session we are going to have contest and we are going to have a winner. Yes, shall we proceed?
Yes, Vedji, our students are excitedly waiting for the contest. Are you all ready, students? All the best. And there are exciting prizes also, so wait for it.
Thank you, Radhika ji. Hello, everyone. I know that you are all interested to look into the question. So we have only one question, and we will have 60 seconds to answer that question. So this will be run through menti.com. So if you have not used menti.com in the past, please either download the app called Menti from your App Store or Apple, or else you can log into www.menti.com. I'm going to share the screen where there will be a code. You have to enter the code, and there will be a pop-up for entering the name as well. So please enter your name space with your phone number so that we can identify the winner. So winner for the today will be announced in our next session. So I hope you are all ready. I'm going to share my screen and show the code. So get ready with your login to Menti app or menti.com. Please, once again, I'm telling, please give your name, whatever your name, with your phone number so that we can identify the winner. Are you ready? Can I share the screen? Please raise your hands.
Yes, we got our students are all ready.
Yeah, I can see now. Children, can you see my screen now? Okay, so your code is 52729658. So we have almost 350 participants. I'd like all of you to join. Please, students, enter your name as well as the phone number so that we can identify.
To be more precise, name, space, phone number.
One more thing, the right answer and the winner will be choose who answer the question fastly. So the system will calculate the winner based on who answers the question fastly and correctly. So be fast as well and mention the correct answer as well. So I will wait for a few more seconds before going to the question. So 354 participants, I have almost 250. We have 60 seconds for the answers. So please try to answer as fast as possible. Winners will be announced in our next session. Can we reach at least 300 to 325, please? It's 352 participants and I can see only 272. Please. Once again, I'm saying log into menti.com if you are not able to download the app. It's www.menti.com and you can use the code 52729658 and enter your name, space, phone number.
Come on, children, do participate. It's very exciting.
Sudhaji, are we going to announce the price as well?
Yes, you can. It will be an Amazon voucher as cash prize. Okay, and the winner will be announced in the next contest, next session on Saturday. This Saturday we are having the next session, and the winner will be announced. Not only that, again next session we'll have a contest.
And please encourage your friends or relatives who would also be interested in this sessions, because it's very informative, just like how you have gained so much of insight. It will be good for your friends and relatives. So share the flyer with them also, so that they can also benefit from these sessions.
I think we reached 297. 3 more, at least 300, please. So I will start once I reach 300, please. 300. Yeah, we have almost reached 300. Sudhaji, I guess we have more than 300. I can shoot out the questions now.
Please, please.
Okay, children, get ready. See your screen. The question is going to come on the screen now.
Be relaxed. You can Google out, but answer the correct question faster.
So the question is, name the carrier that deals with script, but you should be a good listener too. Again, I'm repeating, name the carrier that deals with script, but you should be a good listener too. Type your answers. We have almost 70, 80 answers. Name a career that deals with script, but you should be a good listener too. This career also relates to the topic which we discussed, especially what Dr. Satish ji.
Career also has a word, which is the past tense of run. So that there will be, that word is also present in that entire word, past tense of run.
Okay, we have some people who have answered correctly. Students who have answered correctly, wait till the next session and see who's the lucky winner who has got the answers at a faster time. And rest of the students, don't lose your heart. Please attend more sessions and win more prizes. We have exciting prizes lined up for all our sessions. So please participate and be ready with your questions for our participants, and looking forward to meet you all in next sessions. Radhika ji, over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Vedji. That was really exciting. Yes, like Vedji has said, look forward for our next sessions. And we are having the next session on Saturday. Once again, requesting you to share the information with your family and friends who would be interested in these sessions. It will be very beneficial for them. I would like to thank Professor Mani, Dr. Satish ji, and Srimati Shri Sudha ji for taking out time and giving us such valuable information regarding careers. And I'm sure our students have benefited a lot. Here, that's the flyer for the next session. It's on 10th of July, Saturday, 7 p.m. Thank you, children, for joining us. Thank you, Professor Mani, Satish ji, and Shri Sudha ji. See you again, children, on the 10th, Saturday at 7 p.m. Thank you. Namaste.